Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash with our guy, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow, and my brother Teja Dash. Guys, we're back. We took a little break here, but we are back just in time for the NBA draft, and it's draft night eve for the NBA and us, of course, our 76ers. You know, we've been waiting for this moment for a while. The arguments between the Ace Bailey fans, the VJ Edgecombe fans, the Trey Johnson fans, the Kai Kneppel fans. It's all going to come to head tomorrow night. We're finally going to get some answers as to where the Sixers are headed. But, guys, how are you feeling? One more night, one more sleep before we get to see the newest Sixer.
Feeling good. I mean, I'm excited to see which direction we go. So we'll see what's next.
Yeah, and all the lead up before it. Trades. So it's a pretty eventful NBA offseason that starts right when the finals end.
Yeah, and now the Nets just traded. The Nets just traded for. So the Nets got another first round pick and Terrence Mann. Kristaps Porzingis went to Atlanta and it got a second round pick. And Boston got George Niang and a second round pick. So Boston's starting to clean house and shed.
Boston's
shedding salary, especially with Tatum probably out for the season. So, or definitely majority of the season. So, yeah, now's kind of the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, before we get into these Sixer related topics specifically, speaking of Tatum, what do you make of all the Achilles injuries that we're having lately?
I mean, a lot of my old heads would say it's the low top sneakers.
Really? Okay, that's something I don't hear that.
Old heads would say that. I do not know how many players get taped nowadays. That could be one thing. I think, calf strains is that new? Like, it's not necessarily new. I just think that probably when it happened, it was probably more support in your shoes or in your tape and how you were taped. I just think there was probably more support from that particular injury. I never had that.
Three in the playoffs, though.
I never had that injury. It's ironic. I mean, we've had 3 in the playoffs. Do they happen more often now? Yes, but do they happen? I mean, did they happen back then? Yes, they did happen. Maybe not as often, and definitely not as frequent as kind of like 3 and 3, especially 3 of the guys that 3 primary players on each team. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I really don't know. Like, I don't know. I just know that I don't know exactly why. I know that some of it is coming from what we know that Halliburton and KD's came from a
half related. Yeah.
But that was if you talk to a lot of people in the medical field, that's like common to have a calf strain, and then an Achilles behind it. Like, that's not an uncommon thing. I do think that I would try for support, some form of support.
Some of the more
especially when you get when you have that particular injury, your calf strain, but I do know that a lot of these guys don't tape, from what I was told. And I think primarily almost all of the guys wear lower top shoes. And that's the lower they are, the less support, you higher up on your leg. That's a common fact.
That's true.
So outside of that, I think it's just freak incidents.
Some of the popular takes about why it's happening is the guys are playing too many games, because they're doing more running and high impact than guys 20 to 30 years ago did.
I don't know how they're doing more running because they didn't practice more.
That was my counter. Yeah,
they practice way less with more days off
and more 3-pointers now.
I'm just saying, but it was more, like, way more days off and more time to play games. Meaning, like, we played an 82-game schedule with more practice time in a more condensed schedule.
Yeah.
So I believe they start 2 weeks earlier than we started, and we didn't have the restrictions in training camp. So I don't know how they can really say they were playing more. Like maybe in the game of possessions, you may have more possessions in a particular game.
But that's also because of the 3-pointers, though. A lot more.
Yeah, I'm just saying you have more possessions. So I can see in the game where they say you travel more because you have more possessions.
Less defense now.
No, I'm saying you have. What I'm trying to say is you have more possessions. What I'm saying is you play the same amount of minutes. I don't. There's people that go on how many miles you travel, but if you're running more. And if you're, say, for instance, you're more half court, but you're still banging and running around like you're still on your feet, you're still moving. So I think it's kind of you can tell who's speaking because it's kind of their agenda of how they want it to be. But you can go and you can tell me that, hey, they have more possessions. But if you're going to tell me that was more strenuous now than it was then, like I would beg to disagree that they're both strenuous. So I don't think one is any more than the other because you may have more possessions, but it's still the same amount of minutes. It's still the same amount of time.
Yep.
That you're on your feet. And guys play more minutes then than they do now.
Yep. That's also true.
On average. That's a fact.
And they play defense then, so that's a whole other side of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get into the who play defense because at the same time, at the end of the day, it's about being on your feet.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding around.
But we're starting to see some comments in the chat here. Doug Holiday already talking about the VJ Edgecombe and the draft night, drafting Ace. And so we're about to talk about VJ Edgecombe, and we're going to get to Ace Bailey as well in tonight's episode for this live stream. Guys, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll try to get to them as we go along with this. Leading to win, defense is overrated, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, coming from losing teams, that's right. It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's begin with the VJ Edgecombe debate. So obviously draft night eve, and all signs point, all the reports out there points to the Sixers heading towards the VJ Edgecombe sweepstakes at number 3 tomorrow. Tonight, VJ Edgecombe was talking to the media, and he had a chance to talk about the chance of playing with the 76ers.
How do you think you would fit in with Tyrese Maxey? Embiid and Paul?
I feel like I'll be able to play off of them. They're great players. Embiid's the MVP of the league. Paul George is a runner-up before, so I just feel like I just fit in well with them. And even Coach Nurse, he's a defensive-minded coach. And I feel like I play a lot of defense. So yeah.
Pretty loud in there, and it's a packed room, it seems like. So, Eric, when you're picking at number 3, like the Sixers are, how do you balance the weight of a prospect's workout performance versus how they handle themselves in interviews? VJ Edgecombe didn't exactly light it up in Philly's workout, allegedly, but the front office reportedly loved how he came across in meetings. From your perspective as a former player and someone who knows the NBA locker rooms, what should matter more, the workout or the interviews?
I mean, at the end of the day, neither should be the major stipulation. It should be the body of work for the whole process should be the decision maker. If you feel like this is one of your guys, then your evaluation should go back to always to high school. How was he in high school, and how was he with his teammates in college? How did he practice? How did he play a game? What was his bench behavior? What was he in pressure situations? What did he play? What did he do in big time games? What did he do? So it's the whole evaluation. Now, the interview and the workout may kind of like, turn it one way or another. You may be high, and then all of a sudden you may be 85 degrees on them, and then all of a sudden that may take you down to 70. It may take you up a little bit on how you feel about a guy. But I don't think it's the determining factor of whether you pick him. I think if you have him this high, it may kind of, what I'm saying, what it may do is it may drop him as far as him in comparison to somebody else. You may have somebody that maybe on this even scale, and then all of a sudden he work out, he may drop a little lower, or he may work out and have an interview, and then all of a sudden he jumps above that guy. So I think it comes down to kind of solidifying your evaluation, but it's the whole process that has to come into play.
Tej, your thoughts on the kind of all the reports are coming out about Edgecombe?
It's interesting to draw parallels between like basketball interview process and like regular office day job interview process, because it's like you have fit, like personality, culture fit, and then you have, you know, a lot of places say everything else is teachable. We just want someone who can like gel, but then we'll teach you the rest as long as you have the basic skills of how to do the job. Obviously, if you're being contemplated for the number 3 pick, you're there already, right? So so they already know he has talent, the raw talent, and he's got the right personality fit to be in the culture. Then I see why, you know, Morey and Nurse want him. I get it. I get the attraction. But the interesting thing is, like, if Morey and Nurse are a losing streak next season away from being canned, which are some of the rumors, they're going to be one of the biggest guys in the hot seat if we don't play well, then like how much should we prioritize a guy who fits in well with like a Nurse and Morey culture? I just that's kind of a weird one, because these guys are probably going to be maybe be gone if we struggle, right? So do you go for now, or do you go for a current regime, or do you go for maybe higher ceiling long term instead?
Yeah, but that's the question that I have for you all, and even, you know, our viewers, the people that are joining, like, because as I kind of watch, people are either seem to be pro Ace, pro VJ, but like they're both kind of like, we don't know, to be honest with you. Like we both like, we don't really know how it's going to play out. Even if you're higher on one, like we really don't know. Like they can get to the team, and then all of a sudden they could both blossom. They could both kind of stall. But as you were saying, like to me, you were saying more of a team decision. Are we going to draft someone that can play right now? Or are we going to take our time? Or are we trying to win? Though to me, those are like team decisions. As far as, well, if that's the case, then trade the pick and go get some veterans. If you're saying we trying to win right now, like I don't know. So it's at the like, how many of these young guys are we thinking can come in and
Contribute right now?
truly contribute? Now, I would hope to think that they feel like whoever they're considering can do that. I think the question that we need to ask and we need to wonder about is either one of these guys starting material? That's sort of the question. Because in order for us to really take a jump with this pick, we can have a rookie that's capable or talented enough to start. And then I think if that's the case, then you'll see a jump in the talent, jump in the team.
You mean at some point this season, right? Starting at some point.
I'm saying if they were capable during this season to be a guy that could start, like a McCain, like I think with McCain, everybody was surprised about his jump. Is not necessarily that he did it; it was where he was drafted and he did it.
Yeah.
But he came in with a guy we like, oh, they got to play him. Like, no, we got to stop playing some of these older guys. Like, we got to play him. So,
yeah.
Are these young guys come in and kind of have the same impact as that? So you never know. Like, so we're not a team that's drafting high and we like, hey, we're still in the kind of truly rebuilding. We're drafting high, and the expectations are to win a championship, compete for one. So the expectations that's going to be on these young guys, like we got to understand that how many of those guys are truly coming in to be able to contribute on a team that's quote unquote. No matter how we finished last year, when we have our whole crew, the expectations are different.
Eric, so obviously right now the foregone conclusion amongst that Jonathan Gavoni from ESPN, a lot of different experts, Brett Siegel, Clutch Points. No one really knows what we're going to do tomorrow night. There's so many different things out there. But the one thing I have, Tej and I were talking about the other day was that, if we're so interested in VJ, why was a report that we traded a package to get Dylan Harper shortly after our meeting with VJ? Why did we try to bring in Ace Bailey for an interview? We were so enamored by VJ. Why would we try to bring in Ace after the fact anyway? So I guess it's like, for me, I'm saying that to say that I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that VJ is going to be that guy at number 3. What do you make about the reports that everyone's saying, oh, it's foregone, that number 3 tomorrow, it's probably going to be VJ Edgecombe at the 3? Do you think it's that?
I think you have – it's a lot of smoke screens put out there because I still think there's moves to be made. And you just want to – you're not going to show your cards. I just think people are just not showing their cards. That's all I think it is. You bring a guy in and you don't want to necessarily be tell him where you are. Say there may be a team that's high on VJ that would trade up and take him at number 2. Like, we don't know. So you can't necessarily say you high him on number 3, then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? You don't know. So I just think there's smoke screens. I do think that they have 3 or 4 guys that they would take at number 3. And based on 1 and 2, they probably have their idea of 1 and 2. We all know, I guess it's a 99.9% sure we know who number 1 is going to be.
Yep.
Everyone's saying Harper is going to be number 2. I'm still not firm that that's as high of a percentage as people make it seem. I'm still not there yet. It's the Spurs. You never know with them. And they still have those 2 guards. You just never. And it's not that Harp can't, young Harp can't play, and he shouldn't be that guy. It's just the fact that what the Spurs have. That's why I'm not sold on what the Spurs is just going to take this guy and figure it out. I'm just not sold on that. I'm probably 60% that they'll draft him, but that 40% is still, I don't know. So you can't necessarily be sold one way or kind of sell what you're going to do one way, because someone may like a guy. Say, for instance, Harper falls to 3, right? Just say, for instance, he falls to 3.
Who goes to 2 in that scenario?
Just say VJ. Say somebody liked him, right?
Okay.
Spurs liked him. Just say somebody liked him. Spurs made a trade, and that particular team liked him, and they picked him at 2. Now all of a sudden, Harper is 3, right? Do somebody come in and say, well, we like Harper at number 3, and this is what we have? So sometimes you can't necessarily put your eggs in one basket, because you don't really know how it's going to play out, especially unless you're picking number 1. So I think there's a lot of smoke screens to say that we like multiple guys and we're high on all of them. So people don't know, or people want to try to come up and get in and offer you a trade package that may be this better than your current situation. So you got to kind of play it to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reports are that the Spurs it's going to take a wild, ridiculous package in order for them to move off of number 2. That's the report.
I think somebody just posted that also, and they're like, I've never seen where the gap and I agree with it. Outside of Cooper Flag, I've never really seen where the gap is so big amongst the other guys. From what I've seen a lot of those guys since they've been in high school, and I watched them in college. I don't see where the gap is so huge. Now, some of them do things better. Some of them are bigger. Some of them may have a better fit because of their size or their position. They may have a better fit for particular teams, but I just don't see from a talent standpoint where it's so different amongst the guys.
Overall talent.
Overall talent behind
right.
Flag. I just don't see where it's that huge of a difference. Now, which direction you decide to go, that's on each team. and their needs and how they evaluate them. Now, teams may feel, obviously teams may feel differently than me. I'm just saying, from what I've seen in most of these guys, I don't think that the talent difference overall is that huge of a gap.
I think pro readiness too. I think Flag's just by far the most pro ready player like now. Where the other guys I think have to work into their ceilings a little more.
Yeah, I mean, technically Harp has a pro body. You know what I'm saying? At the guard, he'll be bigger than every guard we have.
He'd be the number 2
he'll be bigger than every guard that we have right now.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if he'll be more talented than the guards we have, but he'll definitely be bigger.
Yeah.
Eric, there's a lot of comments in the chat, pretty much saying VJ Edgecombe is a Josh Hart, and we should not be taking a Josh Hart at number 3.
They said Josh Hart.
Josh Hart.
No, the other one was a Josh Okogie, too.
Someone said, "Oh man, they're going in on VJ, aren't they? What's the issue with VJ? Like, why the majority don't like him?
You know what it is? It's the fact that I think guys get so tied to their guy. And in this case, it's probably Ace. So anything away from their guy, it's like personal. That's what I think. I think it's not as bad against VJ. It's more you're not taking Ace because you like that guy.
Well, but I also think it comes down to being hurt in the past when we've drafted guys like, Zaire Smith, right? And he was kind of an athletic 2 guard. And I feel like a lot of people are just kind of like, I don't want another Zaire. And that's kind of where I think this is coming from. Where Ace, we haven't had a guy like.
But I mean, my son played against Zaire Smith in high school, and we were shocked that he was drafted that high. Like wow. we played against him in high school, so it wasn't like he wasn't a pro. I'm just saying, like after I think he played 1 year or whatever, like we were like, wow, this like he was playing the forward position in high school. Then he went, he showed his athletic ability, but I was just surprised. So
yeah,
and I just think some guys like him, Philly's not the easiest place to go to.
Yeah. He also had that unfortunately eating thing, that allergy. I mean, that was just like that was a freak thing.
I do think
Iguodala was also an athletic 2 guard. That worked out.
Let me ask you all this question, and anybody can watch and can kind of give their opinion on it. You like say for instance it comes down to VJ and Ace, and even let's put Harper in this too. Like, say for instance their talents are all equal for the most part.
Okay.
Who is the better fit? Because VJ's the better athlete. Harper's quote unquote the better all around player,
more polished.
And Ace probably has the bigger ceiling. Like, but who's the better fit for who we have right now? Say for instance everybody's healthy. Playing, their average game. Who's the better fit for the Sixers?
Ace.
Yeah, Ace.
Why though? What makes him the better fit?
You mean with current roster construction?
Yeah, our current roster. Like, what makes him better? Better fit.
I think if all guys were equal, I think there's a path for more minutes available at the 3 for Ace.
You think Ace is a 3?
I mean,
for us,
what's
so
he? Paul? I mean, 4.
Play by the 4, yeah.
Ooh, didn't Paul tell y'all he didn't want to play 4?
That's true.
I mean,
I'm just saying. You got to say what's the best fit for our team. Now you telling me that Paul told y'all he didn't want to play 4. You sitting up here saying we're gonna play him at 4.
Well,
so you're saying Ace is a better 3 than Paul? Or would Paul be the 3 and Ace would be the 4?
Yeah, I think you kind of flexibility between the two of them, go 3 or 4. With
I think Ace has a path at 4. He could. I think it would take some time. I think he's raw. So I mean that's part of the issue right there.
You think we need more size, even though he's not as tall as he was, but you think we still need more size?
We need more length. We need more length size. Yeah. I just think we have we have how many guards at this point? I mean.
And then with also
if we resign Grimes, it's three guards with a lot of minutes. We're gonna get a lot of minutes.
So if y'all had it your way, you would re-sign Grimes and pick Ace. If y'all had it your way, that's what you would do.
In your hypothetical of everyone being completely equal in talent?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially because that means Yabu's probably gone too. So we're going to be missing some size there. Yeah, teacher got game. We literally have no power forward when Yabu leaves, and we need to draft a 7-footer over a power forward in the second round.
Yeah. What about you?
So do y'all think that part of the VJ, like people frowning on him, is a part of the we don't need him as much? Or they really don't like him and his talent?
I think the VJ haters are big Ace lovers. That's one. I think people are worried about, like Marcus said, a little worried about the athletic two who doesn't have like a knockdown jump, a three-pointer. The raw thing, I get, they're all raw though, so I don't think that's a valid reason. And then the other thing would be, I guess, need. The third or fourth would be need. They just think with Grimes, I think everyone assumes Grimes is going to get re-signed.
Yeah, that's the common thing being posted there. Nelson Senior Eastno, what the F do we have to do to get a 4? And the jersey in the back is fire.
Oh yeah, I'll get my jerseys in the house. I'm running low on jerseys, man. I got to preserve them. I'm running low on them, and people be getting them. I guess we'll have a little special show one time and give away a jersey. I got a few we can do that for. We'll try to figure out a good time during the season to make that happen.
Let's do that. I love that.
And with the that jersey coming back this year,
it's true.
Yeah, I got quite a few of them. I mean, everybody wants the black one, so you know what I'm saying. Like everybody wants the black one. If not the black one, then the blue one. So I got to make sure. I got to see how many I have, but I do have some stored up. I got to count them and see how many I have.
That's sweet.
Yeah, everybody. Nice. Trust me, that black one is like on high requests.
I was in Cabo, walking around the resort, and I was wearing my black champion Aaron McKee jersey.
Yeah,
and I got like 6 compliments walking through that place. Like got a Toronto Blue Jay fan. Different fans were like, "Love that jersey, man. I just love that jersey so much. I love that Sixer jersey." It was just like, man. Yeah, everyone loves that one.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet. They're bringing it back this year. So one thing all Sixers fans will be happy about, at least, regardless of who we pick tomorrow, we have the black jersey coming back.
Yeah, silver lining.
Before we move to Ace, I know there'll be a big debate, but people are asking about your take on Trey Johnson or Con Kneppel, Eric. How do you think those guys fit in Philly?
See, I think that I think it comes down to, do you want a spot up shooter or do you want to score? Johnson can shoot the ball, but I think he's more of a scorer. And Con Kneppel, I think, is just going to be a more of a spot up guy. So I think the way that I probably say like Johnson more. I think he has more potential, but I do feel that Kneppel probably fits our team more because we have so many ball dominant guys.
Yeah.
So it's probably a better fit there that you can have someone that could, spread the court, knock down the shot. If you look at our roster, we really don't have a guy that's what he does. He just spots up, knocks it down. And the more he's able to do outside of that is better for us. But he may be a better fit, even though, Johnson's probably, give you more scoring. But I would probably choose him as far as better fit for our team because of that, because of his ability to spread the court.
And when the offense ran through him, when Cooper Flag was down, Kneppel delivered, man.
Yeah, so from that standpoint, I think they both could maybe struggle defensively, but to me, it comes down to better fit because I don't think either guy really play very much with the basketball in their hands with us.
Brian Pumper not drafting a dude named Nipples or Cockbrenner. And I've seen Brian Pumper also dog VJ's first name, calling him Valdez. I don't want somebody named Valdez on our team, which I don't get. I don't get that. But Brian, you're amusing us, buddy. DC Mars says Trey's the best scorer in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, my son he was in Dallas. My older son still lived there. He had been telling me about Trey Johnson since he was a sophomore in high school. Telling me it was this kid that could really score. Like, he'd been telling me about him for a while. I really didn't watch him until maybe going into his senior year. And I think he's definitely the best scorer out of all those top players. Just flat out score the basketball. He gets it done. I think, like, for what he did at Texas, and I just think the SEC was rough this year with that, that talent load in that conference. So I do feel like he may be one guy that I think is maybe getting overlooked a little bit. So it wouldn't surprise me if he made probably the biggest jump that first year. That wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a guy that I've seen some mocks have us. If we were going to go that route, maybe trade back, get some assets, and maybe take one of those two guys.
Yeah.
Connor or Trey Johnson.
It would make sense, yeah.
Doug Holliday, Eric Snow, can you teach Maxey how to stay in front of his man and make an entry pass?
Man.
You guys are harsh.
As long as Maxey can teach me to score the way he does.
There you go. All right, so we're going to go
man.
Ace Bailey time. So reacting over the Ace Bailey drama, it's it's not, guys holding out, guys called our GM liars. There's always something involved in the Sixers and drama. There's something. So Ace Bailey canceled his workout with the Sixers last week and went to a Mets game and threw out the first pitch instead of going to his workout. And so I have Brian Windhorst to talk about that, and as well as Ace Bailey talking about his whole situation with the Sixers today. So here's Brian Windhorst kind of talking, lay of the land of the whole Ace Bailey situation, as well as Ace Bailey on why he did not go to the meetup.
Every year there's a dangerous prospect in the draft, at least one. He's a dangerous prospect because he's obviously incredibly talented. You draft him, it could be a grand slam. You pass on him, and somebody else drafts him, and you might have it all over your face. You draft him and it doesn't work out because of these are concerns, that could get you fired. He is a classic situation and that's why I think the team that gets him will be a team with a general manager who is very safe in his job, who says, trust me, I believe in this player, and that's what I would be watching for on draft night.
Ace, how are you tuning out the noise in the pre-draft? And obviously, are you hearing it, and what's your thoughts on it?
No, I'm just working on basketball. That's all I'm focused on so far.
But do you feel like people have the wrong perception of you?
I feel like I can only control what I can control. I mean, you can think how you think, but I can control what I can control.
So what can you control?
Me playing basketball.
But you could have controlled going to the workout. So.
I'm focused on basketball. That's what I said. It's basketball.
So he had an opportunity to come out right there and say, I don't want to play for the Sixers, and he didn't. He just said he wants to focus on basketball, which you would think focusing on basketball would be going to the workout, not throwing out first pitches, but nonetheless, everyone's got their own situation there. But Eric, the reports are signaling that he does not want to come to Philadelphia. He wants to go to the Pelicans, the Nets, the Wizards, ideally stay on the East Coast, as one of the reports said. But what do you kind of make of everything that's going on here with the Ace Bailey situation?
Is the Sixers not on the East Coast?
Yeah, I thought so, but I guess not. But what does it say about this whole thing? When you saw this report that he canceled his workout, he wanted guarantees. That was what Keith Pompey reported, that he wanted a guarantee before coming to his workout. Sixers didn't give it to him. That was the report that Keith Pompey released. But what do you make of this whole thing? And what does it say about his work?
First off, did he work out for anyone?
Nobody.
Okay. Very strange approach. Rehearsed answer.
Yeah, just repeated it.
Yeah, just rehearsed answer. That he didn't really want to address it. on why. You have a why. So I don't know, man. I mean, I just think that you have to do your research. You have to have talked to his teammates and coaches and students around campus. You got to see how he's in the locker room, opposing teams, opposing coaches. How do you respond in certain situations? What were the things he said on the court? Was he helping his teammates? Was he encouraging his teammates? Like, you got to do research. So that's what it comes down to. So if you make a decision on a guy like that to get it, like, you got to know everything. So, and on top of that, you got to look at it from a standpoint of his talent. Like, this time last year, I had people telling me that he was on Cooper Flagg's level or better. I had people telling me that. This time last year, they didn't know who would be the top pick. I had college coaches telling me that, hey, man, he could easily go number one next year. So these are guys that seen these guys play for years and recruited them and watched them play, and they feel that way. So obviously the talent is there. Now it comes down to an organization and what are we going to do? That we'll take the guy and are we taking the best available player? If you feel like he's the best available player, you take him, and the other stuff you'll deal with. I know Brian Windhurst is like, guys and get fired. I'm like, if based on where we are, if they get fired in Philly, it won't be because Ace Bailey.
No, it will not.
It won't be because of him.
You have a losing streak.
So I don't know how if the Sixers, and I'm not saying he's the best player or where he is. I'm saying if you feel like he's the best player available when you pick, I don't see why you pass. If you feel like he's the best player. Because I don't think that, like I say, drafting Ace Bailey this year would not be the reason why our GM and our coach don't last. It's going to be the guys that are supposed to be leading us would be the reason, along with the coaching and other decision making. But if you feel like he's the best, then I don't even know what the question is. Now, if VJ is somehow in that conversation or somebody else is in that conversation, then you make a decision based on who goes 1 and 2. But I don't think that all not working out and all that, like, I don't think that's going to stop them from drafting him if they feel like he's the best. I don't think that's going to
so either. Yeah. Well, first of all, Morey has a reputation of being a liar. So he could have easily lied and promised him just to get him to come in, work him out, and then made a decision afterwards. So he could have done that. So maybe he's not that big of a liar. He was honest and said, I can't give you a promise. So kudos
that's if that report is true. Because I think
true.
Ace's camp said it's not true.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it makes them look kind of bad anyway. But I don't think Morey gives a damn about the whole getting fired thing. Morey's ego is massive, and I don't think he buys how much hot water other people think he's in. I think Morey cares about one thing, or Morey wants to be the smart. Everything I've ever heard about him is that he wants to be the smartest guy in the room, and that would come with being right about this pick. So if he truly believes that Ace has the highest chance of making him look like the genius in the room, he's taking him. That's it. Like, there's no other. I don't think he's going to factor anything else into this. It's just, who's going to make me look smart? Who's going to make my IQ look the highest? That's what he's going to go on.
Yeah, I firmly think that they feel like, hey, if we just putting talent for talent out there on the court, and we got a 85% Joel and the 85% Paul, we need the most talent that we can get. Who's the best available player? Whoever that guy is. If I had to guess, they would say it was probably Ace and Harper and Flag. And I believe at the end of the day, if they feel that those are the best three, they'll take one of those three guys. I
Yeah.
don't think any of the talk would change that.
Yeah, I agree. I just think I don't think he's scared about that. I don't think anyone's scared about that. And I think if he presented anything to Josh Harris and the ownership group, they're going to ask him who's the best player.
Yeah.
And especially long term too, like who's the best player long term. Because I mean, again, all these guys are pretty raw. It's not like you're dealing with if you were dealing with a really high pro level player and ace, that would be a bigger debate, right?
I mean, the thing that I think a lot of people that like Ace, I think that one, they like him, but I think they also like the fact that out of all of these guys that are, say for instance, their talent is on par, he's probably the better fit because of his size over all the rest of them.
On top of it all, yeah.
And the guys that we have returning, he's probably the better fit. In addition to probably having a bigger ceiling. So, I mean, I think if Grimes is coming back, and I think somebody just posted that, we talked about it on our last show we had. If Grimes is coming back and then you still have, McCain and Maxey, that makes the VJ pick, that does make the VJ pick a little hard to digest. Unless you feel like he's an Anthony Edwards. I'm not going there. I'm saying unless you feel he's an Anthony Edwards type guy. Where you're just saying he's better. His talent is so much better than everybody else. And along with his athletic ability, this is the guy we're taking. I just don't. I don't know if they view him like that.
What do you make of Ace allegedly wanting to play for like the Pelicans or the Wizards? It sounds like, based on the reports, he's prioritizing like individual growth and like his own skill set to improve, and maybe doesn't want if he doesn't want to go to Philly, it's because he doesn't want to play for a team with the pressure of winning already,
or the pressure of being a role player.
That's also true.
I mean, when you were talking about that, I took that. I took it from the pressure of kind of fitting a role or versus kind of being the go-to guy a little earlier in your career where you can build your brand. Like, to me, that's kind of like people are looking at it from that standpoint. But if you poll the majority of these young guys, they probably feel the same way. Because at the end of the day, the league and how you get compensated is based on your numbers. If you go out and you put up these numbers, guess what? Your numbers in your bank account is going to go up. So if you polled them all, they would all want to be in a situation where they can play more and have more touches and take more shots, and they will all choose that. So
that's kind of what Simmons alluded to also.
How everybody feel out loud.
Simmons kind of said the same thing. He thought he would have been better off going to a worse franchise without the pressure of leading like a team to the next step.
Who said this?
To a content. Ben Simmons.
But they weren't there when Ben came, though, were they?
That we were taking the next step up, though. It was like, all right, well, now let's start to do this now. Let's start to,
Yeah, I mean, but the difference of Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons was we talking about the number one pick. That like Cooper Flagg. That's like Cooper Flagg saying that. Hey, you know what? I don't want to go to a team that's close to winning. Like, well, that's kind of weird to me if you're number one pick, you're saying that. And you're a consensus number one pick.
Let me ask you a question about personal or like individual growth as a player. Can you grow faster individually on a bad team, just like making mistakes freely, or with less pressure on a good team? Well, it's more pressure to win on a good team, but it's also not all on you if you go to a really good team. You can kind of like in the shadows get better. What's a better situation in your opinion?
I mean, it's, to be honest with you, there's no really set way to do it, because let's take McCain, for instance, right? And the way he started out playing for us this season, we don't necessarily know if he played for a losing team that it would have been as productive.
It's true.
I think the fact that he was playing for us and he did that, kind of like helped him. But if he did that for the Wizards, who were struggled last year, I don't think anybody would have really noticed. So I think that the more you can do on a winning team as a young guy, I think you can help yourself. I think if you're playing on a losing team, you have to be like doing things that a young guy probably hadn't done or someone on that team hadn't done. Like what's necessary for you to be looked at as taking the next step on the losing team has to be higher. Where I think when you're on a winning team, those expectations and those numbers don't particularly have to be high. I think they just have to be kind of consistent and kind of better than maybe what the expectations that were put out
there. Yeah. Good 5 to 7 year plan. Go get drafted by a bad team, bloat your numbers, and then get paid, and then force your way out to a contender and win a ring.
Well, he saw Kelly Oubre average 20 points in Charlotte, and he wanted to go to Charlotte.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kelly Oubre's not getting paid the big bucks though for a guy who did put up.
No, he's numbers. Not. No.
This is something that on the VJ, kind of the VJ versus Ace debate, and I'm seeing a lot of this. People are saying we need to model our team after what Indiana did with the other guards they had. Having McCain, having Maxey.
It's interesting that you say that, because if you're patterning them after Indiana, VJ would probably be the pick.
Yes,
exactly.
Because you want more athletic ability, pick up full court. Like the Pacers do some stuff that the Sixers don't do. The Sixers don't pick up full court and rotate guys and pressure, and like we don't do that. Like I'm not saying we can't, but I'm saying we don't do that.
VJ's definitely more of an OKC Indiana guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's more better fit for how they play. But those guys those two teams played like that all year. They don't just play like that in playoffs. Like they pick up and they pressure and their guards extend the defense. So if you want to play that way, that's that drafting matters. Like who you draft. If you're saying that we want to pick a guy for that kind of style, like you have to think differently, because that's different. Like but I don't know if we can ever play like that with Joel and Paul. Like I don't know if we can be that type of team.
Yeah. Because
that means Joel got to come out on these screens when when they're running a lot of pick and rolls, and it's different. Like you're asking those guys to do a lot. The more you extend your defense, the more you open up things. So we'll see.
Yeah, I love the debate in the chat though, guys. You guys are really bringing what I've been seeing on X for the last month to life on this chat tonight. So love it, guys. So all right, so we're gonna get to the moment of truth here. So Eric, when we first talked about this about a month ago, Eric said he didn't want to give his pick yet. He wanted to take some time to think about it. So here we are. It's draft night eve, June 24th, 2025. Eric, who do you have the Sixers taking at pick number 3 tomorrow, and why?
Being that Dermore is our general manager, and he's off the cuff sometimes, you never know. And I think for a guy like Ace not working out and declining it, I think that's more of a reason that Moore would draft him. I think they would draft Ace Bailey. I truly, now with everything that's going on, I think he's still going to draft him. So that's my pick. Would I take that pick? I don't know, but I just think that's who the Sixers draft.
That's who you think. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's who I think they're going to draft. I'm not saying who I would draft. I don't know. Like I really don't know. I'm still to the point where I would have to consider drafting, getting other players and pulling back and drafting and moving backwards.
Really? Okay. You think it's that close between a bunch of players?
Well, it kind of depends. Like, kind of depends. Like the Cam Johnson from that was thrown out there. There are some guys that I would kind of consider, because I think Cam Johnson is sort of the shooter, the power forward we need, and you can move back.
What about Trey Murphy?
The shooter we need, but I don't know. He's still on the size, though. You know what I'm saying? Still not the size. Yeah. Like I think the shooter that's a power forward, a true power forward, and has shooting, That's why I use the Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
You would move back. I will move back for that.
And we could package together some salary
and get a package for that,
which could also be
because
good
then you still kind of addressing your quote unquote issue that you have in your lineup. But I think they're going to draft Bailey. I think they're going to go with the potential and the size.
Another trade option that's been kind of thrown out there. I know you mentioned Murphy, but the other one was number 7 and Herb Jones for the 3rd pick. Would you do that, Eric, or no?
No.
That's definitely not shooting and size.
No, it's not.
It's defense and size, though.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I am still going with who I want and who I think the Sixers will take. Obviously, I do think there's a lot of smoke and fire around Edgecombe, but it's never encouraging when you apparently send out 3 first-round pick offer to Harper for the Spurs right after you move Edgecombe. It's just bad timing on that one, right? We like you, man. We like you a lot, but hey, let's just throw first-round picks if that's true. But,
I just think you have to address, especially with Yabusele possibly leaving, you have to address that position. In the draft, free agency, trade, you have to draft that. You have to address it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that they will take him, because he's out of all of these guys, he's the one that's closest to addressing that position. And I use Cam Johnson as a name because of the size and the shooting ability, not necessarily to do that. I would just use him as a name of the type of player,
a prototype.
You know what I'm saying? Like the type of player that's needed. Some size, some ability to be able to stretch it, shoot it, because that's what makes me lean towards Ace Bailey because of that. So I'm just saying, if you're not going to take Ace Bailey, you need to address that position, that size, that shooting. So maybe Cam Johnson isn't the guy, but someone of that mold, or you just take the guy that addresses it in the draft.
Yeah. I think we go Ace, and I think we go power forward or big with our second round pick too, or second round pick. Yeah. I think we go big both, especially for our plans to keep Grimes and let Yabu go.
Yeah, and they also have to make a decision on Justin Edwards by Sunday, I believe, is the on his contract.
This draft will allow them to give them a lot of direction on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One other guy that Zachary Wisner has been mentioning in the chat, we didn't get to him, was Malawash from Duke, because he's pretty much saying that Embiid's leg is not going to be right this season. You have to have Malawash. Malawash could be a guy that could potentially be someone in the future, or even get some minutes this year. But what do you think about Malawash, Eric?
I mean, his size and his length is pretty scary. Like, it's pretty scary for opposing defense. If you're gonna make a mistake, make a big one. I don't know if he's 3. I don't know. I know that the size and what he can do. Maybe he's a guy that you get
trade
something else and you trade back and get. But we know we got to address something with Joel, man. Like, we know it. Like, we all love him. We all want him back, but it's hard to trust the body. We don't know. Like, we still don't know. We still haven't had any information. We don't know. So we may have to consider addressing that right now.
Would you rather have Cam Johnson and Malawash?
Stop bouncing the ball.
Would you rather have Cam Johnson?
Stop bouncing the ball, man. Yes, man.
Get him, Eric. Get him, Eric.
Get me mad, man.
Get him, Eric. There you go, Coach Eric. Would you rather have Malawash and Cam Johnson over Ace?
Both of those guys?
I mean, that's what the trade would be. Trade back and
that's hard. That would be hard to pass. That would be hard to pass up. That would be hard to pass up.
That's like Embiid. That's true Embiid insurance.
Some now issues. You get some guys that addresses the now issue. Even though like Cam's not a young guy, but he addressed it, for the short term. And then you address the Joel issue, like you're addressing that. And then at the end of the day, we got Paul for 3 more years. So maybe if Paul and Cam, like Paul got to address some of the ace issues too now. Like he's paid to do that. Like that's what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not, your potential, the potential of an Ace Bailey, no one probably has that potential, but I think what takes precedent right now? Are we trying to win the championship when saying these guys are aggressive, or we kind of just trying to compete, or we're trying to truly address the elephant in the room, and we really don't know with Joel. If that's the case, and only they know, you may have to go that route. Like I'm not saying they do. We're definitely going to do it, but they know more than us, and we won't find out until October where everything is. But I also don't want to get to October and we didn't address anything with Joel, and then he's out.
Is it worrisome?
That's not the case, but it's hard to trust it.
Yeah,
based on what we've experienced.
Yeah. Is it worrisome that we haven't gotten an update on Embiid's prognosis since the surgery? They said they were going to give us an update in 6 weeks. It's now, I think we're 8 weeks in.
I wouldn't say it's worrisome right now. To me, like I don't need to know. You know what I need to know? I need to know in October, are you going to play? That's what I need to know. Like, I don't need to know that right now. Now, from a decision making, they probably need to know so they can make decisions based on how the roster is going to look and any changes or trades or whatever they need to make decisions off of that. But I don't need to know anything right now. But like I've always said, we'll find out. Like, I'm not rushing. I'll give you all the time off you need to recover now. You're not playing any basketball for months now. But when you come out to play basketball,
be ready.
And, we'll see. I'll see when he plays. We'll see when the game, because the schedule is going to be set here pretty soon. You'll know the schedule in August or whenever it comes out, and you'll know the schedule, and we'll see when guys play, because up until the beginning of the season, it was, he was going to play, and he was only missing a week, and he was going to play in preseason, and he wasn't going to play, and he was only out a week, and he was only out 2 weeks, and
then no back-to-backs.
We got what we got. So I don't need any kind of talking, but the season will let us know where everything is.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a big preview as to what the future holds for the Sixers tomorrow night at pick number 3, and what the Sixers will do for the rest of this upcoming off season. So it's a big time, baby. This is big time.
Let's do it.
So yeah, guys. So Wednesday is the draft, and Friday we will bring you guys another episode. We'll do another live, so you guys hop in on Friday as a live, as we react to both our first and second round pick, and who knows, we might get more assets based on if we do any trades within the draft. But guys, it was a good one, and we will see you guys Friday. Everybody enjoyed the episode. We'll see you guys Friday. Enjoy the draft, everybody.
See you
later, guys. Enjoy it.